Hello, I'm Matt and welcome to Badger Workshop. So I made this bench top a few months ago and I've just had it sat on these Axminster trestle legs. So I thought it was about time I made a stand for it. The garage is so chock-a-block with stuff I decided to only use materials I had on hand. So first I got out these 4x4s and planed them down so they're all the same size. Then I could square up one end and cut them all down to the same length. Well, 4 of them down to the same length to use as the legs, and then I need a couple of stretchers for each side. I wanted to join everything together using half lap joints, so I found the centre point on the legs and then raised the blade to that height. Then using the mitre gauge on the table saw, I could start making these cuts. This is where I'm jealous with the Americans and their dado blades, as this did take a bit of time. Of course there are other ways I could do it. If I made the initial cut on the table saw and then just removed all the waste in one go on the bandsaw, that'd be much quicker. But the blade could always wander on the bandsaw, so I know I've got a consistent depth doing it this way. Using the blade to clean up this cut works very well, but if you're not confident doing it, a chisel works just as well. With all the half laps cut at the top of the legs and on the stretchers to go on them, I can then work on the next stretcher, which is going to go halfway down the leg. I've run out of 4x4s, so this is going to accept a 2x4. So instead of being a half lap joint, this is going to be more of a housing joint. As with any luck, the whole of the 2x4 bit is going to slide into this recess. So with all the bits cut, I can start getting them glued together. First, I'm going to drill a pilot hole and countersink it for each of the joints. I'm just going to put one screw in each joint, as the glue is going to do most of the work and the screws really are just going to work as clamps to hold it all together. I start with getting the 2x4 into the housing joint, and it's a nice snug fit. Then I can get the 4x4 that has the half lap joint and that goes on the top of the leg. I can then get a screw driven into the centre of each joint to pull everything tight. So I've made 2 sets of these legs and I'm just going to put them to one side for them to dry while I get on with the next bit. So the next thing to do is get this bench top out of the way. It's made from 18mm birch ply and is 6 foot long by 3 foot wide, so it's got a bit of weight to it. But I managed to pull it up onto the table saw and then I can just lever it over onto the floor. I can then get rid of the trestles and get the new legs into place. The legs are going to get attached to the top, but I want them to be kept at the same distance apart by putting some material along the back of them. Going through my scrap pile, I had some ply left over from the bench build, which is exactly the right length. So I'm just going to attach a strip of this along the top of the legs and then another piece towards the bottom of them. So if I was to lay these down now, they'd rack terribly and wouldn't be very secure at all. But my thought is, when they're attached to the top, which is incredibly stiff, it should be very strong. Also, this is going to be a bench that's against the wall and is not going to be pulled out and moved. So I've got some of these little L-shaped brackets and I'm just going to use them to attach it to the top. If for any reason it needs to come apart again, these will be pretty easy to undo. So now the bit I wasn't looking forward to, getting this top back on without breaking everything. Again, I managed to pivot it back over the table saw and actually it was easier to do than I imagined. Now I can just get a few screws in to attach the legs to the top. There was nothing wrong with the trestle legs I was using before, but because of their A-frame design, they're a really inefficient use of space, as this is completely open at the front now, so I've got lots of storage. 6 foot by 3 foot of space under there to put things like vacuums and dust extractors. And it's all come out much stronger than I thought. There's no racking and it's very stable. That's it all done. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos.